Good evening and welcome to day 2 of Shadat 2020, an art and culture festival celebrating 5 years of G5A. My name is Priyanka Patel and I'm part of Team G5A. For Shadat 2020, we have brought together artists who have been an integral part of our community and our journey for the past 5 years. A community and an ecosystem that believes in the possibility of new, unfiltered voices and the possibility of building communities that are equitable, inclusive, and just in thought and expression. In doing so, our endeavor is to enrich people's lives, rebuild resilient and responsible communities, and strengthen the cultural fabric of our community and city. This is the second of the 3 conversations exploring the legacy and contemporary practices in performance. We are joined tonight by Bhavna Pani and Namaha Mazoomdar. We begin with a quick response to this festival that Bhavna and Namaha have created for Breathe Between the Lines. Bhavna Pani is a Mumbai-based accomplished film and theatre actor. She's also an exponent of Indian classical dances, Odissi and Kathak styles, as well as jazz, ballet, and contemporary dance. Namaha Mazoomdar is a professional dancer, director, and Odissi teacher, a choreographer, and her classical dance journey began with Odissi under the tutelage of Daksha Mashruwala. Both Bhavna and Namaha will share about their process of tapping into the potential of dance to communicate beyond words. They will also be talking about their upcoming co-production with G5A. Please welcome Bhavna Pani and Namaha Mazoomdar. Hi.
Hi, thank you so much, Priyanka. It's such a lovely evening, and G5A has been such an integral part of who I am as an artist today. And uh, the fact that I can be brave in the ways that I want to express, uh, I find G5A very synonymous with the word brave because of the space that they've created. Um, and really to egg us on to find our voice, our individualistic voice, to facilitate that in such beautiful and brave ways. Um, and I'm really happy that I can be a part of this evening and celebrate with all
Thank you
the
so much for
lovely
joining
artists.
us. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Both Bhavna and Namaha, you've engaged with dance in its various capacities, both as choreographers and as dancers, who find the expression through movement. What, according to you, makes a 2,000-year-old dance form like Odissi relevant even for you today?
I'll, I'll go ahead. Okay. I think, honestly, Odissi is a form for me that, way goes back several years ago. But having said that, the form that we practice today has been revived, reworked, revised by Guruji, Guru Kerucharan Mahapatra, post the independence period, So today, the form that we are practicing, learning, or working with it is something that has been relatively recent, if I may say so. So it brings in all the aspects that Guruji himself had learned, imbibed, experienced, and somewhere I feel therefore becomes very contemporary as well because of the time that it has been offered to us.
Nama, I remember you mentioning in one of our earlier conversations that Odyssey does not have a space for a big applause or appreciation. It does not have that aha moment, is what you mentioned. Um, I was wondering that as a practitioner of this form, what has it demanded of you as a dancer? And as you, as an individual personally, when you don't have that instant applause coming to you?
I think that is something that appeals to me always about this form, that it is not flamboyant. It is very controlled. It is very still. It is very soft. But these are the qualities that you will be able to see, outside. Internally, I need to be extremely strong. Internally, I need to go through all of that chaos, if I may say so, to bring that out to you in the most controlled, in the most um, peaceful manner, And I also feel like it requires you to be in that space, and it's not so out there, and hence I feel like, yeah, as a result of which you need to kind of just go with it.
And that sort of brings me to Bhavna. You mentioned that you started learning Odissi, but you stopped at a very young age itself. And then you diverted to more contemporary dance styles, which helped you find your voice. How has that moment of finding your voice defined or impacted your decisions going forward?
I think it was a very personal journey because I started off. at the age of 5 or 6 before I even learned how to walk properly. My journey with Odissi has been on a very cellular level, and it's almost become a way of. It almost become will become, I don't know, a way of life, and a philosophy that I hold on to. Culturally, also, it's very close to who I am. I'm an Odia, so Odissi, the nuances of um, the performance, or even of the songs or of the music, is very, I think, in my body, from like ancestrally in my body. So there was extreme resonance and identification at a very young age. And then I think I wanted to lose that voice that I found very earlier on. And I realized that to recreate, redefine, re-explore, explore, whatever you want to call it, that to destroy that voice was very important for me. So I had to go in search to come back home, as most travelers do. I went, searched, traveled. I did a lot of jobs which took me touring and traveling all over the world, because of which also I suddenly got exposed to Ohad Naren and Akram Khan and and all this happened. Like personally, I got to meet them, talk to them, chat with them, see their performance with my naked eyes, and I was like, "What is this? This is so inorganic. This is so like, you just have to do what comes from within, from here. You let your gut talk, and no Guruji is telling me what to do." And I found, as the first response would be, right, this is so liberating. This is so much better. And then I thought, then of course, Namaha and I were talking the other day, and I realized something amazing is that the actual surrender actually lies in doing Odissi for me, actually. You go all around and you come back, because you have to kill the ego to be able to surrender to the Shringar Ras, to be able to commit to the Bhakti Bhav, to be able to find or explore the authenticity of Bhakti Bhav in a world where it's all about, what world we live in, about social media, about to find Bhakti Ras in that. I mean, if that is not surrender, what is, right? You have to end yourself, and then what begins is. So that for me was, I found the same voice again, what I found at 6. I met that same Bhavna again, but this time with this new, uh,
The more Odissi avatar.
coming back home.
It's very interesting with any traditional classical dance or any classical form is so rigidly grounded in rules as against the folk or the freestyles that you think of. I believe that I often see that the traditional forms have a very clear vocabulary for communication. The mudras, the lasya, the whole idea of the embodiment of the feminine grace, the navarasas, the songs define the poetry, defines what you're saying, what you're supposed to feel, what is the impact that it's supposed to have. In a lot of ways, it's all sort of prescribed to you as a traditional form. As beautiful as it is still prescribed. When both of you did step away from this predefined language, how do you then explore the idea of this communicating a thought and an idea or a message that you might have had? How did you explore communicating that with the outside world or even between yourselves?
I think for me, honestly, I don't think I would say that I've stepped away, because I think when I did get my training in theater and in the contemporary form and the traditional forms of theater, is when I actually learned to appreciate Odissi in a much, much bigger format. I learned to appreciate the discipline, the rigor that any art form, a classical form, requires. And that is what marks it as traditional. It requires that. So when you kind of go deeper in understanding the nuances, the backstory of it, I appreciated it in a way that when I have to like speak in the contemporary sense, I sort of, it blends in for me, the postures, the walk. There are certain things about the contemporary form as well, which I probably then involve in it, but I don't think I step away from it at all. If at all, I probably add in other layers from different forms, if I can say forms, but it is never a step away from me.
I think I think what intrigued us to explore the other, if we can say that, was just I think it just germinated from the idea of marrying something that's so organic with something which is supposed to be so inorganic, but it is actually very organic. At the stem of it, they're all organic. But just the marriage of these two vocabularies intrigued us. I think that was the jumping off point. And then when we got into the room, we all, I think the first day I said, yeah, guys, this is the idea, but what do we want to say with this? It's a great idea. Yeah, we want to marry these two vocabularies. But what do we want to really talk about? And I think within a matter of a couple of minutes, we came to a couple of meetings. Sorry, maybe not a couple of minutes, I'm exaggerating. A couple of meetings, we came to the fact that it was communication and the form of dialogue in this background, in this current socio-political background, which are strange times. And by that I don't we're talking about pre-COVID, yeah, right now. We're not even talking about these strange times. It was as strange even before. And the politics of communication,
Right.
the how, why, what, where to talk, was becoming, we could sense the tension even in silences. We wanted to explore that, I think. And it was a very esoteric idea in our heads, but to kind of, I mean, the idea was, okay, we sat with it, we talked about it for, we got articles, did a lot of research, read books, and then we, I think, realized that we just need to get into the room and get on the floor and give ourselves impulses that come so strongly and intensely to us.
Right.
Enough talking about it. And that's how the five of us got together, and Anisa, the choreographer, walked in, and then eventually Kwata Thakur se, the director, walked in.
And I know that you're talking about the upcoming piece that you're working on. The title is still, I think, a working title, Contemporary Odissi.
Yes.
And yeah, G5A is really excited. We're really excited to join on board as co-producers with your entire group. And I think what you're creating and the journey that you're embarking upon seems so exciting for us, especially the way you're gradually unraveling your own difficulties and your own questions that come through in the conversations that you're weaving through dance. If you could share a little bit more about that, with where you are right now with your piece, and how do you imagine it sort of taking shape?
Where are we? I think we are at a place where I think we'll have to kind of, look into getting into the space again and see what other, because now earlier, every time we work on a new project, we work with the tools that exist with us, again, in terms of training, experiences, thought process. And it is always context-based. Now, with this entire situation having changed, the context changes completely. New experiences have risen. So I think now the shape of it will change because there are added variables that need to be acknowledged now. So, but I think what stays common from then till now is the fact that you still want to go through it and you want to reach a point where we are working at it to be able to still share it. And that, I think that passion or that desire is not compromised.
We had an option to make this a hybrid performance at some point, but we stirred away from it. And the idea of touch and
Yeah.
tangibility is so essential for this, and in juxtaposition to how tangibility is treated at the moment, we
Yeah.
thought if we ignored that, it is not going to be right. So we had to incorporate it at some point.
And
I'll
with
just
all the, yeah,
No, I just want to, because you said, G5 is association with, um, I just want to take a moment to say that G5A actually has been extremely instrumental in
yeah.
making this particular thing happen.
Actually,
Not
not
just,
just G5A. BNP Paribas has been extremely supportive in allowing all of us to dream way bigger than what we can in these times. To sort of really be rooted in what we believe in and what guides us in the process of nurturing art and culture. So yeah, we must sort of definitely acknowledge them also. But yes, Bhavna, you were.
No, I just want to say thank you for helping me open my company. I mean, you guys are really giving independent artists wings. Because of my association with G5A last year with a project called Water Games, which was choreographed by a French choreographer, Michel Casanovas. And we had a long run of 12 shows. And G5A gave us such amazing facilities that I almost felt unstoppable after that.
That's
And therefore,
beautiful.
therefore, when I met wonderful people like Namaha and Charvi and Nupura and Jia and all the other artists that are working with us, it took like a matter of days. I remember November last year, this time we were in Port talking to Anuradha, and she was like, "Yeah, go dream, make this happen."
I
Who's
think
that?
it's a great moment to show the video that
Yeah,
that that's still
let's
work in progress, and it'll be great for people to see what we're talking about.
So all four of us got into a rehearsal room. We began with centering ourselves, being still, really listening to what's surfacing. We gave each other little impulses, little games to explore. We even visited the traditional Odissi repertoire together. And then we began to think about what we really wanted to say with this vocabulary that we had. We clearly had a language or some semblance of it, but we were looking for a story to tell or a concept to delve into. From these discussions, the idea of the politics of communication emerged. Suddenly, listening gained more importance over talking. We began to dive into differences of responding and reacting. The need to understand became more important than being understood. We began exploring these dualities, questioning the angst, the chaos, the violence, the othering that really limits us from having a dialogue.
That was wonderful, Bhavna and Namaha, and thank you so much for sharing the work that is still in process. And it's beautiful to see when something is still in the process of creation, and the thoughts and ideas that you're putting in all the time. And I'm sure we'll keep meeting again and again to discuss this further and to share what it means to create a piece completely organically when such beautiful dancers come together. But thank you so much for this beautiful discussion. And thank you to everyone who's joined us virtually. Um, Shared below in the comment section are the links to the next sessions that are happening on legacy contemporary performances also. Do join us. For more information on Shadat 2020 festival, please visit G5A website. You'll find the link to the website in the description section also. Hope you join us all throughout the festival. Thank you so much, Namaha and Bhavna.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Best wishes.
Thank you.